This morning, we again find Matthew's Jesus taking advantage of yet another teaching moment, imparting wisdom and providing those who follow him with everything they will need to be effective disciples. Again, we find an intriguing parable telling us about the realm of God, a parable that usually is misinterpreted in ways that avoid the edginess Jesus is intending to convey. Sometimes Jesus' parables are rather lengthy stories with significant detail. Sometimes they are pithy little storylines with few features, but packing an equally powerful punch. Like this little, almost one-liner delivering Jesus' poignant, but usually overlooked message. The realm of God, or being in the presence of God, or the joy of finding oneself immersed in divine love, is like discovering a treasure buried in a field. You may remember from my sermon a few weeks ago, burying treasure in Jesus' day was common best practice for safety and security of valuables. However, actually finding buried treasure was an unexpected windfall, a surprising blessing. So the crowd listening to Jesus that day know it's unlikely they will find treasure buried in a field, but still, it is an exciting possibility, and Jesus has their attention. They can understand and relate to the rejoicing of those in the story who happen upon treasure buried in a field and sell everything they have to obtain this treasure. The delightful rejoicing is where most biblical scholars stop. The primary focus is on the great joy of discovering the reward of this wonderful treasure. Treasure so compelling, these finders go out to sell everything they have so they can purchase the field and celebrate this wonderful new blessing in their lives. We are usually told the point of this parable is joy and rejoicing at discovering the realm of God, finding heaven, the very presence of God, a joy so great we will give everything possible to claim the treasure of having the divine in our lives. If you've heard someone talk about this parable in the past, chances are you've heard something like this. But perhaps ignoring the surprise element common in parables, maybe forgetting the twist always present in a parable, possibly avoiding the radical message consistently proclaimed by Jesus, most biblical scholars miss the piercing intent of Jesus' words. Bernard Brandon Scott, world-renowned scholar of biblical parables, especially the parables of the New Testament Gospels, claims most scholars of this parable have been seduced into an easy, happy interpretation, missing the whole point of what Jesus is saying. Listen again to the parable. The realm of God is like a buried treasure found in a field. The ones who discovered it hid it again, and rejoicing at the discovery, went and sold all of their possessions and bought the field. Notice they discovered buried treasure, presumably while digging in the dirt, and then they reburied it, hiding the treasure while they go away and sell all they have so they can buy the field. Why do they rebury the discovered treasure? Why don't they just take it going on their way rejoicing? Why do they first buy the field? Though there was little legal clarity about these matters, there were rabbinic norms in Jesus' day about found property. If you happen upon an item of worth, and there is no evidence of ownership by someone else, then it is yours to keep, and be a cause for great personal rejoicing. However, if you find something, and there is evidence of ownership, the discovery has to be made public, making the treasure available to be claimed by another. Perhaps this is a parable about right choices and actions for a follower of Jesus, about the behavior required of a true disciple of Jesus. The key question here is, when they find the treasure representing God's way of being, or the realm of God, treasure representing heaven, and divine presence and blessing. Do these people do the right thing? Their first response upon discovering this great treasure is completely understandable. They are overjoyed with their discovery, rejoicing in their great find, contemplating what great good differences will make in their lives. A very appropriate first response to something wonderful and life-changing, sort of a mega million winning experience. They are ready to do everything necessary to claim this great treasure, making it a real true blessing in their lives. So in their joyful eagerness and with no apparent ethical weighing of the issues, they hide the treasure while they go get money to buy the field. And they have to buy the field pretending to know nothing of the buried treasure, because the field in fact belongs to someone else. We know there has to be evidence of ownership, or there would be no need to go buy the field. Upon finding the treasure, it would simply be theirs free and clear. But this treasure cannot be readily claimed by the finders. Someone else has a stake in their discovery. It belongs, at least partially, to another. Therefore, they are required to make public what they have found. But instead, they rebury the treasure, go sell all they have, and buy a field, making it their very own. We can neither ignore nor explain away the fact these folks take for themselves what was not theirs to take, unwilling even to share what they have found. Rejoicing in their discovery is not Jesus' point in telling this parable. The point is, does the rejoicing at this great good discovery lead the true disciples of Jesus further down to Jesus' way? Or does the discovery become a seductive power leading to self-centered, destructive behavior? Treasure, a metaphor for God's blessing, understood as reward for a righteous life, leads those who find this very treasure into thoughtless choices with unethical, immoral results. As they rejoice in their great good fortune, they are seduced, and the apparent blessing leads to their demise. Brandon Scott sees this parable as a strong warning. Finding treasure brings great joy, but our joyful discovery can seduce us into a self-centered way of living, believing we have received our just rewards. We can be seduced into wrong choices, wrong action, with no consideration of the consequences, with no thought of ethical requirements, with no concern